Today I'm going to show you how to download LabVIEW for free. National Instruments, who makes LabVIEW, has released a few versions of LabVIEW, but you just might want to know which one is good for you. Before we get into that though, I've got a little treat for you. This is a photo from the SpaceX Command and Control Center. Quite clearly, these guys are using LabVIEW. Check that out. So we've got their test unit here, and looking like a pod that would be sent into space. Tell me if you know what pod that is, or if you're really into SpaceX and you know what this is. And all these control panels are all from LabVIEW. They're quite clearly LabVIEW controls and indicators going on here, and graphs. And well, if you scroll up, team at SpaceX is looking for LabVIEW developers. We have 2 job recs open, 1 entry level and 1 senior. Well, it was posted on 2022, so you're out of luck. However, they're always hiring at SpaceX, and it's just pretty cool to know that LabVIEW is used for the SpaceX Command and Control Center. Actually, it's used pretty much everywhere in industry, and you will not get away from it. So with that, let's talk about LabVIEW Community. LabVIEW Community is the free version of LabVIEW, and it's called Community because you shouldn't use it commercially. Now, for obvious reasons, National Instruments do not like it when you use their software for commercial uses. Now, this is where it gets very, very interesting. There is a rumor that for those who use LabVIEW Community for commercial purposes, National Instruments finds your address and they send a band of fairies to your house to put a curse on it. All we know is there's been reports of people having serious nightmares and regular nightmares of a person's voice telling them to license LabVIEW until they have no choice but to license LabVIEW. Well, you know what? I have the solution for you. We are selling anti-fairy dust on our Patreon right now, and has worked brilliantly for us. I have had no problems with any LabVIEW fairies at all, and the only problem is it may contain nuts. So if you're allergic to peanuts, I'm very sorry. You're going to have to do something about that. But apart from that, obviously you can't see the dust, but LabVIEW fairies can see the dust, and I spray it on everything. I've sprayed it on my, like this set of drawers, this cabinet right here, I've sprayed it all over, and essentially never had a fairy, never had a nightmare, never had voices. It's just great. And go to the link in the description below and buy your dose of anti-fairy dust for £1.50. Anyway, back to the serious stuff. National Instruments LabVIEW Community, right? That's what this video is on. And let's look at the computer right now. Alright, there are 3 pieces of software you can get for free. Let's start with the LabVIEW Community Edition. That's essentially the normal, original LabVIEW Professional given for free. The only problem is it doesn't have driver support for the DACMX, Real-Time or FPGA, which makes sense though, because if you think about it, that gives you the ability to connect to their controllers, which are normally in the thousands of pounds, and if you have one of those, you probably have some money to fork out for a license. So you can't connect to those. In my coming videos, we'll be connecting to some hardware. Stay tuned for those. And today we'll be downloading and installing the Community Edition. Now, LabVIEW NXG is something that I would not use unless I had to, because it's the next generation of LabVIEW, and it was supposed to replace the original, but instead it had a lot of problems. Although it looked really nice, it didn't have the right features that everyone was looking for. And so National Instruments has axed the project. They've said they've put the best features of NXG into the 2023 version of the original LabVIEW. Okay, the last piece of software is the G web development software. It's great. It allows you to make web apps. And well, just say you're selling something to a client and you tell them that you can make it into web app. It's a great thing to show off with and charge a little extra for it. And it really can allow someone to monitor something overnight. If they're worried that their factory is going to catch on fire or there's a test unit on overnight, well, they can check it before they go to bed, just to have a good night's sleep. So expect to have videos on that in the future. But now to installing LabVIEW Community. Let's get straight into it. So first go to Google and then go to LabVIEW Community Edition, search it. It should be the first link here. And once you open it up, you'll know you're on the right page. You'll see this man here. And if you go up, there should be a download now button. Click that, hit LabVIEW Community Edition. You can see there's also the G-Web development module. You can also download that, software. And if you go down here, hit Community before you download and hit download here. You can choose your version as well. I've chosen the 2023 version. Here you have to sign in, and if you don't have a sign in, you'll have to create an account. Once you hit create account, it'll download, and I've already downloaded one here. So I click open, and you'll see it mounts because it's an ISO file as a DVD. Once it mounts, you can hit install, hit yes, and go next, accept these license agreements, just hit next, and everything is fine. If you go by default, just click next. Use the defaults or the settings. Now this is the first install. This part is shorter than the second part of the install. So that's done. That would have taken a little longer for you. Here is the next part of the install. Hit next, and this is the proper install. Hit accept, click next, and you'll notice that this one is a lot longer. You need to give yourself, depending on the speed of your computer, even a few hours if you've got a slower computer. LabVIEW is quite a heavy programming language. So once it's done, it'll ask you to reboot, and here I click reboot, and doing here. Okay, so hit NI LabVIEW 2023, find the icon, and here it'll ask you to activate. You hit check my account for licenses, hit activate, and it'll bring up this dialog box. You'll have to sign in again with the account that you just made, and this will allow you to register or activate LabVIEW Community. Alright, so once it's done, hit finished, it showed there that activated properly, and now LabVIEW 2023 is ready to go. Hit create project, make a blank project, new VI, and hit Control T so you can split things, and you've got the front panel here where you can create some controls, and on the right you've got the block diagram where you can do some programming. So I hope this was useful, and if you made it this far, I got a little personal note for you. I'm an engineer at the moment that doesn't get to teach in my job role, but I love to see it when people succeed, and so that's why I've decided to make this YouTube series, just a short series on the basics of LabVIEW for free. Join if you are interested, and support the channel by buying the anti-fairy dust. And if you're not having problems with LabVIEW fairies, please give us a like or a subscribe. We need them, as this is a new channel. Thank you, have a good night, or evening, or day, or morning, wherever you are.